Hi everyone,
What's up, everybody?
this is Spenny,
This is Alejo.
and we were formerly in December Pilot.
We wanted to really quickly address a couple of things that you may have noticed. The new promos are different, there's some new faces.
Our photos are still on some of the songs on Spotify.
Yes, I know that there's been some releases on Spotify and stuff like that. We have nothing to do with those.
You may be wondering what's going on with the band. We've actually been getting a lot of text messages about, hey, what the heck is this new song? I see you're playing a new show. Can you tell me what's going on with the band? Quite honestly, we don't have an answer.
Quite frankly, we're just getting tired of having to rehash the whole thing.
I think it's time to finally tell people.
Unfortunately,
Alejo and I,
we were told that we are no longer in the band. Boom.
I think that's it.
Alright,
I think it's kind of just important to kind of tell you all like why we aren't in the band, what exactly transpired, because quite frankly, we were told not to have this kind of announcement. Typically when bands break up, right, there's at least some acknowledgement of why a member is leaving or what's going on with the band moving forward. So I guess this is just kind of our opportunity to kind of tell our story and what exactly happened.
Where should we start?
Well, first off, I mean, we were in the process of having a song getting professionally produced.
Yes.
We were super stoked on it. It felt like a really cool bonding moment for the entire band when we got off the phone and said, yes, we're moving forward with the song.
We had booked a producer and we had started deciding on what song we were going to be sending. We decided which song we were going to be sending. We started working on the song. We did kind of like a mock-up of it. We were still trying to fine-tune the last little bits of it, and we were supposed to get on a call and all of this. But a week later, we were surprised to get a first mix back from our song.
And let's just say it wasn't to our standards. I'll just say that.
It wasn't bad. It was great production. Unfortunately, we were not happy with what stems we sent, because when we recorded the stems that were sent, we were not taking it seriously. We were just sketching out the song, and we had still been talking about fine-tuning lyrics and a couple more things. But, you know, everything got sent to the producer. We got a mix back, and not only was the song changed,
pretty significant,
but we just weren't happy with how it kind of happened and turned out.
That's the part of being a band, right? Like, we come together, we collaborate, there are things that work, things that don't work.
Spencer and I had some suggestions about the mix that had come back. Nate did not necessarily agree with those revisions. We were just kind of going back and forth, speaking about like artistic choices and what to do with the new song that we were working on. And then
we kind of had this point, right, that we got that first mix back and we were required basically by the producer, hey, come back with any, you know, changes, things you want different in the song. And so we came up with our suggestions on what we wanted different.
At the time, I explained that because of how things had happened with how we got this first mix back, I didn't really have any positive notes that I wanted to give, and so I wanted to relinquish control over to Spencer and Nate because they were a lot happier with the product than I was. And so I said I'm going to concentrate on the live production side of things while you guys make the decisions on the track. That way we have a song that 2/3 of the band are really happy with, and the third that isn't super stoked with it is still super stoked to be in a band, so they're gonna play.
It's called compromise.
Right.
It was really unfortunate that Nate was just dealing with some things in his own personal life. I'm not gonna get into it, that's his story to tell. But he basically texted us when we were all collaborating on things that we want to change with the song. He said, hey, listen, I need to take a break.
He said we were taking 2 weeks off. Oh no, come here, I'm gonna give you a back rub.
So we said, all right, dude.
Take your break, handle your things, and then we'll get back. At the end of the day, we can always talk to the producer and figure things out.
But unfortunately, that kind of left Alejo and I in the driver's seat when our producer was asking for some feedback on how to make the song better. Wow, this feels so good, dude. And we didn't really feel comfortable sending those suggestions without it being a full band coming to an agreement on those changes that needed to happen.
And we also did not have the primary communication with the producer. Nate was the one who kind of put it all together, and until about this stage in the process, we didn't feel the need to be so involved, but now we did. We ended up kind of talking also with the producer, saying some of our pieces about what we wanted to do and have done with the song. That left us to kind of deal with things that we were not ready for, honestly, because Nate had been handling it all.
But 3 days later, Nate contacts us saying, you know what, man, I'm so sorry. I apologize for not taking your criticisms lightly. He basically apologized for kind of overreacting, for how he just kind of left the process to me and Alejo.
Oh God.
What am I doing?
I don't know. Do a silly pose.
Toot it up.
One of these. Maybe not your butt. No, your church is gonna see this.
Okay. Pants down. I can't. I'm just a good little church boy.
So, Nate hit us up.
He seemed really motivated to get the ball rolling and keep working. He actually texted us about, I found a way we can monetize our music via TikTok. I found out that we could probably even take a flight down to Atlanta, Georgia to go meet with the manager of the Paradox. Oh, and by the way, we should formulate as a band this 5-year plan on the direction that we want to take the band.
We were not in the position to just take a flight next week.
So, Alejo and I, we both said, yeah, man. We meet every Friday, all ready for practices and rehearsals.
So anything that we need to really hash out or talk about, Fridays is the night to do it.
And so we agreed. But yeah, let's meet on Friday, August 22nd. Cool.
Unfortunately, this was around a Monday. That Wednesday, we got a series of very weirdly structured text messages. It really looked like...
Let's just say what it is. It was a ChatGPT summary of what we as a band should do. But it wasn't what we should do as a band. It was a message from Nate saying that
things weren't working out and...
he wanted to rip the Band-Aid. And he had already pre-made the decision that he no longer wanted to be in a band with Alejo and I.
Basically, all of the things that we said were things we wanted to work on were fed to ChatGPT and sent back to us as a response from him, enumerating all the things we wanted to work on as problems as to why we should not be a band anymore.
And said he wanted to take the band solo. He wanted December Pilot to be his solo project.
Right. The plan that he sent us was very obviously a ChatGPT copy and paste. Basically said the solution is to buy Spencer and Alejo out. He wanted to buy us out, which nobody was buying anybody out. We're just getting recompensated for the money that we had just spent for the new production.
But the thing about that darn ChatGPT message that just drives me nuts is that he said we shouldn't make an announcement. And so we didn't at the time. But that's what normal bands do, right? When a member leaves or comes in, you just tell your fans what's going on.
I was getting sweaty.
I know, dude. And so I guess this message we're sending here is really kind of our announcement.
Which we were asked not to make because the ChatGPT generated plans said that it would hurt the branding,
the legacy
of the band. The agreement was going to be that we left everything the way it was, and then probably would eventually start releasing new music as Nate's solo project.
Turns out that wasn't the case.
We realized that, Doubts was no longer on Spotify for a while. I'm not sure if it is now still or not, but the legacy was not protected. And things were taken down and then put back up. We were both blocked out of all of the social medias from the band right before we were told that we were no longer a part of the band.
And I think it's important to note, we told Nate, hey man, can we have just an in-person conversation? Can we talk about this?
Right.
Face to face, man to man. Let's handle our issues. Let's not be too hasty with this decision. Let's actually talk through it.
Right.
And he said, nope, these are my final thoughts.
Which was a screenshot of him sending us back the money that we had already paid towards the recording of the last song.
The thing that pissed me off, I think, the most was the fact that he formulated this plan through ChatGPT on, don't make an announcement. We need to, quote-unquote, protect the legacy of the band.
The legacy.
Which, the way I see it, he didn't want us to make this type of announcement. And in fact, went as far as to block us from all of the social media accounts that we had. And this was all just within a few hours of sending that text message, saying that he wanted to take the band solo, which of course tells me that he'd been thinking about this for a while, that the few days that he took a break possibly was talking about this behind the scenes and wanting to make all the necessary changes so that he could continue the band without any pushback or blowback. Not just us.
Our families were also blocked on all of the social medias.
Our friends, people who have supported the band, for years.
Probably the closest, like the most loyal people to the band were our families. You know, the ones that were always there, coming to our shows when nobody else was showing up, the ones taking our pictures when nobody was there, watching our kids when we were out at shows. It's not just a one-person effort. It's not even just a three-person effort. December Pilot represented an amazing creative outlet for more than just three people. So to see them be blocked, that's what started a chain of events that made us come to realize that we needed to make some sort of announcement. It's our friends or family messaging us like, hey, where's your band? Or the ones that have somehow been missed and have not been blocked would be like, hey, there's new promo pictures, but none of you guys are in it.
I had a buddy reach out to me and say, hey, I see your band is playing this upcoming week. How do I get in? How much is it? And I'm like, dude, I don't have any answers for you because I'm sorry you didn't get the memo, but I'm not in the band anymore.
It's all super messy. It's not pretty. Unfortunately, it didn't play out in a super cool way. A lot of uncool things.
Yeah, and it's not like we didn't try, right? We tried to have that in-person meeting. He denied it. Literally a week after everything happened, I texted our group chat and said, listen, Nate, it's been a week since you made this decision. It's pretty weird that we've been in this band for 3 years and we used to get daily reels sent to us about funny things that he found on Instagram. And, you know, even though we're not in a band together, we used to be at least friends. We don't have to be in a band together, but we can at least still be friends. I mean, that's what we worked towards for 3 years.
Send me your memes, dude. That's all I'm saying.
We missed the Instagram deer. It sucks, man.
We really didn't know what we had until
we didn't have it. I don't want this to sound like this is one big complaining video or whatever. We honestly tried to mend the bridge, and it was met with complete silence. It sucks to think that we got blocked from the social media, so even if we wanted to make an announcement like this, we couldn't use the platform to do it the appropriate way. So we're having to get creative to at least let the people know what transpired, what we expect. And one of those expectations is we built this over the course of 3.5 years. We said we wanted this to be a collaboration. We wanted us to feel a part of the creative process, and we were. I mean, look at the product of what we made. Remember When is like our #1 hit on all the streaming platforms. I wrote the drums for it. You said it yourself, Nate. The song wouldn't be the same unless I played the drums to it. I take a lot of ownership, especially over that song, because there were different directions it could have gone, and I felt like I did a really good job.
Followed really closely by Doubts, which is probably the song that gave us the most momentum in the last couple of years.
It was the first actual punk song that was kind of true to December Pilot's vision of being a pop punk band. It's frustrating to see that song was just immediately taken down. It's frustrating too because we recorded that song, we played it, it just got released, and then Nate decided, hey man, I need to take a break from the band. And that was 8 months of time that we could have been promoting that song. And it did get some traction on TikTok once we finally kind of got back in the swing of things, reformed the band. Okay, cool, we're back. We're going to start playing shows again. That song was featured on a lot of TikToks that were reposted over and over again and really contributed to the, over 1,000 monthly listeners.
And credit where credit is due. Nate had his whole business plan that included contacting creators and having them create content with our song, and a lot of that did happen because of him. However, the main song, the thing that makes the content be created, is a work between us three, and it's the one song where I feel like I have the most creative credit on.
You sing it, you play it.
Well, I wrote the chorus for it, and I helped Nate flesh out the ideas that he had for the verses and try to help them fit a little bit better. In that, I helped write quite a big portion of that work of art. And sure, I am the lead singer in that track, and I was very proud of how it did. I know that it's still available up somewhere on December Pilot's YouTube or somewhere like that. It might be up on Spotify again, I don't know. But I don't feel like that is a song that, if December Pilot continues to brand themselves as December Pilot, that they should keep in their catalog. Now, I understand that in a group there is usually one person that agrees for things for everybody, and that has happened quite a bit in this whole ordeal.
We have a picture of us outside of Old Ironside still being used as like the primary photo for those songs.
Obviously, it's not representative of the band anymore, and so we feel like those need to be changed, or at least their streaming needs to be paused and made unavailable until that change can be made, because we're not approving of our images being used. We think it would only be fair to us and even to our families who have supported this through and through that the name December Pilot is not something that is used anymore by any one of us three.
You decided that you wanted to take this project solo. That's what we expected. And this is nothing against, the new members that you've added to the band.
No.
It's just when you told us that this was going to be a solo project, we truly expected it to be a solo project, or at least some level of decency to let your fans know that this was going to be a solo project moving forward and that we weren't going to be a part of it. Maybe it wasn't the right time to make an announcement, but it's been a month and a half since this has happened, and I think the fans of the project deserve to know, at least have transparency, because we're already hearing the new music that's coming out. It doesn't sound like us. There's weird rain things that we never discussed.
I haven't learned how to play the didgeridoo, so I don't know what that was about.
I can play a nice rain stick. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who are listening to our music wondering, damn, where the hell is Doubts at? Where the hell are those two guys that are on the Spotify art? The main pictures, when you pull up, I think it's Bad Dreams, maybe even Regular Hunt. Our pictures are still on there, dude. That was outside of Old Ironsides where you got your freaking guitar stuck in the ceiling. We don't want this to be a bitch fest, but we do want you to at least respect us too. It's not a one-way street. You have to respect our wishes too, and our wish is that it not be considered December Pilot without us. We were December Pilot, us three, and that's the way I see it at least.
Right. What you had started was built by us three into what it was when you decided for us to step away. This creative partnership had been from the get-go just a service to Nate's musical ideas, where we are essentially sessionists. This message would not be reaching you right now, because then there would be no need for that. Unfortunately, we, at Nate's request, were taking a lot more ownership of the band and of the ideas and of the direction that was going as far as creative things go. Nate was really good at marketing, so he was handling all of that. I feel like we have contributed to the project artistically, money-wise, time-wise, in our creative juices, even in our own promotion of the band itself, to consider it our band and not Nate's project that we were in. He very clearly let us know that that was the case. He basically said, I don't want to be in a band with you guys anymore, but December Pilot's going to keep going without you guys. Eventually, he got a new band, and so we feel like the name December Pilot does no longer just belong to Nate. It's not fair to the amount of work that we have put in, the amount of work that our families have put in to make December Pilot what it has become in the last 3 years, for December Pilot to continue using the name December Pilot. I believe this is a mutual feeling.
Oh yeah,
between both of us.
Dude, we spent 3 years of our lives. We got families. I can't count how many hours we spent rehearsing for shows that we knew we weren't going to get paid for. If we could have our way with this band, it would be, you kick 2 of the 3 members out, you shouldn't be able to use that same branding, I guess you would say. So I think it really just comes down to that.
So this is not like a cease and desist or anything like that, you know what I mean? But we're both addressing this because we want to move forward. We both have lives that we want to move forward with, and we both have music ideas that we want to move forward with, that we want to materialize and start putting out and basically move on. It's just very uncomfortable. We keep getting messages from people asking us what happened, and it gets tiring to have to type out the whole story over and over again, so we just kind of wanted to make an announcement and put the doubts at rest, I guess. I don't know. Just basically addressing what happened so that we don't have to keep addressing it ourselves.
Yeah. It just kind of sucks, man, to think that, one week you have your son calling me Uncle Spenny, and then the next is his birthday and I'm not there. That really hurt, man. To think that we have ladies that have spent time, babysitting your kids, being there for both you and your wife. I just wish things were different. I wish this was handled a lot differently, man. That's all I really say. To December Pilot, or whatever the heck you guys want to call yourselves in the future.
The band formerly known as December Pilot, hopefully. All the love, like everything, all the good things. Jay, you're my boy. Enjoy it. As far as the new bass player goes, I'm not too familiar with them, but I wish them the best as well. And we wish Nate the best as well. One thing that I think it's important to note.
It's our understanding you gotta show at our alma mater, Sac State in the Union, man. That show was gonna be really important to both of us, considering we were alumni.
Both went to college there, we both got our degrees there. We've walked through the Union. If anybody's gone to Sac State, you walk through the Union 100 times, if not thousands. So I think it's very cool that you guys are playing at the college that Spencer and I went to, the college that we said we should play at because we went to it. And so we reached out to the Union to try to let them understand that the two alumni in the band were no longer in the band, that the idea of performing at the Union came from the alumni feeling pride in the institution where they received their higher education. And so we tried to ask them to reconsider. They said that this was a personal matter and that they would not be involved. We understood. However, somehow or another, I was contacted and told that the band had been made aware of our attempt to try to have Sacramento State reconsider. And so, to anybody that has been a classmate of ours or that is going to Sac State now,
we won't be there.
But you guys should.
I mean, go and support.
Yeah, tell them we said what's up. Show them what a great place Sac State is. Show them stingers up.
Stingers up.
In conclusion, we are no longer in December Pilot. We just kind of wanted to clear the air. No hate on Nate or on the new members of the band, but we don't think that it's very fair for us and our families to keep calling this December Pilot. We thank everybody for following us in the last 3.5 years. Had a blast, we learned a lot, but
it would be in our best interest, nay, a respectable thing to do if you just started over with something new.
We'll have to see you around under a different name. Well, I think we're done rambling. Hopefully this wasn't a big bummer. We'll see you around at a show. I'm going to continue on with BrightSideMusic. I'm super thankful for the experience that I gained in December Pilot, for the knowledge that I gained from this whole experience. Hopefully Spencer can join me at some point with drums, at least some shows.
I mean, I love what you're already working with.
We're trying. So, yeah, come to a show, come say what's up. If you guys want to jam, hit me up. But if anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to us.
From Alejo and Spenny.
So, have a great night. Thank you for paying attention to this aging man, and have a great night. See you all around.
See you all around.